Okay, I think we're live, guys. This is Ron Harris, your MD online editor. It's Friday. This is when I do a lot of the Ask Ron lives. And had a great question that was actually submitted for Dr. George Suliatos, who I do the show Ask Dr. Testosterone with. We record that every Monday morning, and we post it every Tuesday morning right here on this channel. And we're going to answer this question, me and the doc, but I really wanted to get into it personally because I have a lot to say, and you guys might also have a lot to say. Get the chat. Private chat, comments. There we go. Okay. So now I'll be able to put your comments on screen. So let me read the question to you. Came from a gentleman called himself My VIP 3R, Viper, I guess. So he wanted to know, in order to have that aesthetic physique look like influencers, we need to stack specifically steroids. So English is not his first language. I'm sorry. What stacks does Doc suggest to have the aesthetic look? So Doc's going to handle that. But I want to get into it because this just goes to show you that a lot of people are completely ignorant and naive about steroids, what they can and can't do. And I don't like to see people like that using steroids because they're very powerful hormones. They're very powerful chemicals you're putting in your body. They can affect things like your heart, your kidney, your liver, kidneys. There's two of them, your liver. Like I said, someone using steroids who has absolutely no knowledge about them, that's like putting someone who doesn't know how to drive a car behind the wheel of a Lamborghini. It's very, very dangerous because that car is way too fast and powerful. They might hit the gas pedal and go slam into a tree or a wall or something. So steroids can do two things, basically. They can help you build muscle or they can help you retain muscle while you're dieting. Some steroids like Anavar do have slight fat burning properties as well, but for the most part, people use them to build muscle. And then when they cut down, you're still using the steroids because you want to hold on to that muscle. And they do not change your genetics. They don't change your bone structure, your muscle shape, things like that. This is like asking which steroid will give you a better biceps peak. You have to be born with the peak biceps that shapes your muscle, no particular steroid. So there's no stack that any influencer or classic physique or men's physique star uses that gives them that aesthetic look. That's just their genetics. And if you look around a crowded gym where there's a lot of people training hard, like Bayshore Athletic Club where I go to, like the Reagan shirt, you'll see there's a few people that just have that gift. Their bone structure, their shape, wide shoulders, small waist, long muscle bellies, round muscle shapes. They just look more aesthetically pleasing, whereas other people might have as much or in some cases far more muscle mass, but it's not a pretty physique. Pretty being a relative thing, obviously, but in divisions like classic physique, you want to be aesthetically pleasing. You want to have a very nice shape, something where people go, wow, I'd love to look like that. A lot of people will look, especially the younger guys, they'll look at someone like a Big Ramy and go, oh, I don't want to look like that. But they'll look at a Bumstead and go, oh my God, I want to look like that. And of course, a lot of the fitness influencers that you see, they are not enormous guys or girls. They've got a good amount of muscle, typically very small waist, and they stay lean all the time. And certain drugs, before I get to your question, certain drugs will cause you to retain more water. They're more on the androgenic side. Things like testosterone, anadrol, dianabol. These drugs will, Deca, they will cause you to retain more water, have a little puffier look, but they're not changing the way your body's developing. Your body's going to develop the way it's going to develop. I always say steroids are going to make you a bigger version of what you already are. You can target specific muscle groups and areas, of course, not to say you can't. Like I always tell people, if you have a wider waist, you should really focus on shoulder width, upper back width to try to offset that so you have more of a V taper. But generally speaking, steroids are going to make a person a bigger version, the same bone structure, same muscle shape and everything. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. Is that aesthetically pleasing? That just depends on the luck of the draw. What your parents give you? So let's see. So this is our new StreamYard software that we just started using recently. So myself says aesthetics equals train. I agree, but I don't even think necessarily the modus of train, the way you train has that much impact. What I mean by that is I don't think Chris Bumstead trains radically different from a lot of guys out there. Why don't more people look like Chris Bumstead? You could duplicate, I guarantee you, I'm talking to all of you out there. I guarantee you You could do exactly what Chris Bumstead does, exactly in terms of every exercise, same weights, reps, eat all the same meals, take whatever PEDs he might take. You could replicate all of that 100% exactly the way Bumstead does it. You are not going to look exactly like Chris Bumstead. He is a genetic phenomenon. He was given certain genetic gifts from his parents with that bone structure, the muscle shape. You could see his potential, even if you look at teenage pictures of him. Some will say, well, he was on steroids. It doesn't matter whether he was on steroids or not. You could see the muscle shape and the way his physique looked. Like I said, I've seen plenty of teenagers and guys in their early 20s on steroids. Only a few of them look really good. The ones that are more, you can, of course, eliminate the factors of people who weren't consistent with their training and their nutrition, things like that. But genetics play a huge, huge role. And people don't like to hear that because it's one thing you can't change. You can always take more drugs or eat more food or train harder. You can't change your genetics. That was determined while you were in the womb inside your mama, floating around in that amniotic sac or whatever it is. All right, we're taking questions here. The reviewer, is pinning your triceps or biceps safe to do? I'm afraid to pin my chest in there. I did the biceps once, and it was so incredibly painful. Never did it again. I did try my triceps multiple occasions. I don't think it's safe. I think there's a lot of nerves in there. So when we talk about safe areas to inject, we're typically looking at areas that don't have a lot of major nerves running through them. Because if you hit a major nerve, if you puncture it with a needle, you can cause a lot of damage. Do not do this at home, but say if you pinned in your hamstring and you actually went through your sciatic nerve, don't do that. Don't even think about doing that. But I can imagine, I don't know what kind of damage you would do to yourself, but I can probably guess it would be astonishingly painful. So biceps and triceps, I don't see there's any long-term advantage to pinning there anyway. People put, site enhancement oil in there to try to fluff it up with oil, but it's not actually causing muscle growth. So, I'm somebody that triceps were and continue to be. I'm not getting any bigger overall anyway, but triceps were always my most challenging body part. Pinning them did not help. They would get inflamed and look a little bigger for a couple days till the swelling went down, and then they went back to normal. For the most part, you want to put all your gear in your shoulders, your side delts. You can put them in your rear delts and your glutes, the upper outer quadrant. So if you divide each butt cheek into 4, it would be the upper quadrant. So if you're looking at yourself from the back, which you can't unless you have a mirror, I guess. So from the back, it would be, I think I'm doing it in reverse here. To the right quarter, and then the left quarter. Because there's very few nerve endings in there. You can, a lot of times, if you'll stick it in there, you don't even feel the needle go in. Other areas, I guarantee you put in your bicep, you'll scream. So is it safe to do? I don't believe so. I would stick to your shoulders and your glutes. I've been doing lats lately just because I ran out. I've got so much scar tissue in my glutes and my shoulders already. I'm not doing it to get bigger lats. I'm doing it just because I needed another place that wasn't all riddled with scar tissue to put my gear. Next question. Hey, Torres, do you know bodybuilder Rubiel? Yeah, he's called Neckzilla. Rubiel, I can't recall his last name offhand. I think Dino looks better than Chris. Rubiel, is it? He just did a video with Larry Wheels. Massive guy. I think he's out of Dubai. I'm not sure. He's a freak. I believe he's gonna do a qualifier to try to get into the IFBB Pro Leagues. I don't think he's an IFBB Pro yet, but I do believe he's planning on doing one of these qualifiers like an amateur Olympia. Is it Rusio? I can't remember his name, but they call him Neckzilla. If you Google Neckzilla, he comes up. But he's massive legs, just a big, thick guy. He kind of reminds me, physique-wise, of Carlos Thomas Jr. I think Carlos has a little more of a narrow waist than him. A. Torres also adds, I think Dino looks better than Chris, to be honest. Well, when you get the top 2 guys at any Olympia division, you could oftentimes make a case that the second place guy looks as good or better because it's a matter of opinion. What do you like? There's a lot of cases I've seen where the top 2, you could have flipped a coin. They had different looks, different types of physiques. It just came down to what's your preference. They both had size, shape, proportion, condition. They just have different shapes and different looks. So, yeah, if you believe Dino's better, that's your opinion. You are entitled to it. Andy Norton, is trend safe if using small amounts? I always had good results from it, but I've stayed away from it the last couple of years after hearing a lot of bad things about it. I think it's safe to say with any steroid, the more you use of it, the higher the dose, the more dangerous it's going to be. And that goes for anything, whether it's test or Deca or Tren. The more of the drug you have in your system, the higher the dose. Now you're going to be looking at potentially more side effects. So Tren is never safe. It's safer in small amounts than it is in large amounts. No, it's never going to be 100% safe. That being said, Tren is very, very potent on a milligram basis. You don't need, I don't think anybody, unless you're like 300 pounds lean, which how many of you watching this are 300 pounds lean? Probably not many. I don't think anybody needs a gram, 1,000 milligrams of Tren a week. Most people would do just fine if you're using acetate, the fast-acting version, something like 100 milligrams every other day, 150 at the most. You'd see great results. I've gone as high as 600 milligrams a week. I didn't really see much of a difference. Like, did you get twice as hard looking in the muscles, twice as vascular? No, but I started getting more of the insomnia. I didn't get the night sweats, the Tren cough on injection. It's a very, very rough drug. It's very powerful, but it's very toxic. A lot of side effects. I say this with any steroid or any PED. The least amount you can use and still see results, try to find that rather than just blasting grams and grams. I think you're always better off starting out small, seeing how you respond to that. If you want to gradually bump it up from there and see if you get better results, okay, then that's your new dose. Or you might find you don't get any better results and you can take it back down to the original dose. Otherwise, you're wasting money. You're putting yourself at more of a health risk. So I always say try to get the most from the least, just for your own health. And of course, you're going to save a lot of money too, assuming you don't get your gear for free. Hey, Torres, what's your current best physical feature? Well, I got a torn, I would say legs, but I tore my quad, as some of you know. On August 30th, I had it reattached on September 5th. My legs were always my best feature. My chest is still, chest and quads were the two things that always grew very well for me. Triceps the worst. Back is good. It's not great. It took a long time for me to get a thicker back, many years. But I would say chest and quads. Raymond Jones, men's physique bodybuilders look the most aesthetic. Just train upper body and diet. You know, Raymond, another thing I suspect, because I have talked to a few of them, you know, I don't hate on these guys at all. You know, I'm not going to pretend to be interested in any division that I'm not really interested in. I mean, I respect them all, but when I watch the shows, I'm watching mainly men's bodybuilding, 212, classic physique, women's bodybuilding. I can appreciate that. Women's physique too. Figure, I'm not really that interested. There's no posing. Bikini, no posing. Wellness, no posing. Men's physique, no posing. Fitness is cool because of the routines. At least those are entertaining. But the men's physique guys, my point was, they don't eat a ton of food. They don't stuff themselves. So that leads me to believe that bodybuilders probably overeat, most of us. In our efforts to get very big, we probably eat volumes of food that are unnecessary and stretches out our abdominal wall or our colon. And over time, the midsection just gets thicker and thicker. Whereas these men's physique guys, I think they've figured out, they found that balance where they eat just enough to grow, because you see these guys have tremendous development, back, shoulders, chest, arms, and they have tiny little waists. There's not many bodybuilders that have that same ratio of the muscular development along with a real small flat midsection. So I don't think it's the not training legs that does it. I just think it's the fact that they don't stuff themselves. They eat more moderate portions of food. Sparky says, I thought Tren was the best, but after doing more Primo, EQ, and Samvara, got way better results. Yeah, I think Tren has taken on this mythical status. Like, people think it's magic, like almost like you can rub a bottle of Tren and say, Tren, give me 21-inch arms, like a genie bottle. It's not magic. It's a very potent, powerful steroid. You do get great results. It's 9 times more anabolic than testosterone, but it's not going to make you look drastically different from other steroids. It's like I said, it's all your genetics. So Tren does have a lot of side effects, and a lot of people will try it and then they just don't like the side effects. The night sweats, I never got. A lot of people don't like that. They wake up like soaked in sweat in a cold room, in a cold bedroom, like their clothes and their sheets. And like, what the F? What I found, the worst thing for me was what they call trensomnia. For some reason, someone here will know the reason, the scientific reason, but it stimulates your central nervous system to the point where you really can't stay asleep very long. You have trouble falling asleep. You keep waking up. And as you know, if you can't get quality sleep, your cortisol levels go up, which makes it harder to gain muscle and lose fat. Yeah, you're on drugs, so that sort of counters it. But still, you need your rest. I mean, I don't function well on anything less than 7 hours of sleep. I need my 7, 8 hours is perfect for me. So if I'm up half the night tossing and turning, trying to fall back asleep, I'm not going to have great workouts. I'm not going to be productive in my job. I'm just not going to be 100%, psychologically, intellect, all that's going to be a little bit off. So yeah. Who's my pinned up? Oh, here we go. Goku. I don't want to hide it. Okay. Goku Luffy. Who's your pick to win Legion this weekend? I have 2 picks. I have Charles Griffin. Charles Griffin is looking awesome. Where's he at? Michigan? And John Jewett. John Jewett is doing his first open show. John just won the 212 at the Atlanta Pro a couple months back. He has been as high as 4th place at the 212 Olympia. He's going to hit this show, the Legion, at about 225. And if you haven't seen his Insta, it's Jay Jewett and then a number. He's got a lot of updates. And we actually did a preview of the Legion Sports, and we have those. It's on this channel. It's the most recent video. Giles and I did a MD Power Hour, a full preview of it with a bunch of clips and stuff. And we have John looks so much better, fuller, rounder, conditions still damn good. He's probably never going back to 212. This is it. He's outgrown the 212 class. So I think it's going to come down to those 2 guys. Of course, Justin Rodriguez, you can't count him out. Justin has been, he's won a few shows. He's been very high. He's placed top 10 at the Olympia a couple of times. He's been, top 6 at the Arnold. Justin was, so that's my pick. Devious Cuts. Do you do coaching? I stopped doing coaching. For me, to do it the way I wanted to do it was just too time consuming. I'm not one of those people who could just feel good about themselves sending out like cookie cutter, copy and paste. Everyone gets the same routine. Everyone gets the same diet. And I'm not saying that that's what all the good coaches do. They don't. But I like to take the time and really customize people's workouts and diets. And it was taking me so long for the money I was charging. It made no sense. So I have this full-time gig here at MD, of course, keeps me pretty busy. I also do some work for Muscle Tech. I write for their website. So I have plenty to do, and I just don't feel the desire to do coaching anymore. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed helping people get in shape and all that, helping people build muscle in the off season. But yeah, it just didn't really mesh with my schedule. And I'm eating every 2 hours. I'm still living that meathead life that's very time consuming, going to the gym and eating all the time. So yeah, Fitness Lover Garage says hello. This is Jen. Hey, Ron, I was on a phone call. Do you need me to jump on? No, you don't need to, Jen. You're welcome to if you want, but no, I got this. I'm figuring out StreamYard. Yes. Because I oppose change. So we just switched over to this new, I could put, I could go to other channels on here. It has so many more capabilities, so more things you can do with this than we could just on the regular live stuff. Raymond Joe, is it too soon to give your top 5 Olympia prediction? It's not too soon. I guess pretty much everyone, there's only 2 more people will qualify this weekend, but for the most part, none of them are the guys that I see in the top 5 anyway. So get ready to get canceled, Ron. I think Derek's probably going to take it this year. That's my opinion. You guys can think whoever you want. Krizo, whoever, anybody you want to win. This is just my opinion. You can argue. It's fine. I think it's going to go Derek, Hadi, Samson, Nick, Brandon. That's my top 5. So everyone except the Derek fans is really angry at me now. But you know what? You asked me and I answered. Their viewer. People say buying gear online is a bad idea. Is that true? You're running a risk. You're always running a risk. If you do it, I would say you're better off. You're safer doing it from a company that's going to ship domestically. I think if you buy from a company and your gear is going to come from outside the USA, I'm talking to my fellow Americans here. It's a very risky venture because customs catches a lot of these packages. Not all of them, but they catch some of them. And you'll get a letter from customs and immigration customs department telling you to come on down the post office or PO box and claim your package. If you do that, you're screwed. You're better off just not responding. I didn't order anything. So, online, There are good online suppliers. I don't know of any, so please don't ask. And I would never give out sources here anyway, guys. But your best bet, if you can, is to find a local bodybuilder who you're friendly with, and they'll trust you, and they'll hook you up with whoever their source is. I'm sorry I can't be more clear than that, but I know online is the only option for a lot of people who don't have any connections. They don't know anybody. You're always taking a chance because let's say the stuff's no good. They might not give you. They might give you your money back and replace it, but they might say screw you. And who are you going to go to? The Better Business Bureau? You can't really. There's nobody you can go to at that point. You're doing something that's technically illegal. It's like you're buying street drugs, really, when you think about it. So, yeah, it's not a great idea. But what are you going to do? It's still illegal in the United States without a prescription. And even then, you're only going to get things like test, Deca, growth hormone. You're not going to be getting Tren with a prescription. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. Sparky, hello, exactly. It's good for the last few weeks, not a massive cycle. Yeah, Tren's one of those things, just like orals. I don't think anybody should be on orals, pills, even with something that's considered quote unquote safer like Anavar. Still liver toxic. It still is. It still shuts down your HPTA. But the point with the orals is the liver toxicity. So you don't want to be on orals, personally, more than 30 days. And I don't think anybody should be on Tren more than 4 weeks at a time. And what would you need it for that much longer than that anyway? Usually it's something people use in a cut or contest prep where you'd kick it in toward the end anyway. You don't need to run it for 16 weeks. Sparky also says, Trensomnia killed me in my later 20s. My early 20s, I didn't have it. Yeah, and then like I said, sleep is so vital. If you're not sleeping, for me, when I'm sleep deprived, life sucks. Like I learned after a certain age if I was at like one of these contest weekends that people were going out, when I was younger, I'd be like, yeah. And I'd have to be up at like 6. So maybe I'd go to bed at like 4, Even then it sucked, but now I physically couldn't do it. I would be just so miserable, headaches, just dragging ass. There's not enough caffeine in the world that would be able to have me at 100% functional capacity for my job the next day. So sleep, anything that's going to kill your sleep, guys, it's really not worth it. Jen posted Legion Sports Fest Olympus Pro preview MD. Oh, she got a link to it. So that's our link. It's on this channel, but there's a direct link. Giles and I did the preview. Jen threw on a bunch of good. Jen, good job so far. I'm impressed. Yeah. I mean, I'm figuring it out, Jen. I'm figuring it out. Eventually I'll be popping in videos and stuff, but one thing at a time. Sparky says, I got Derek too, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's not to say it's going to happen. Anything can happen. Hadi could retain his title. He could win 2 in a row. Nick Walker could win. Why not? Samson could win. Why not? I mean, they're all capable. They're all excellent. It's not like any of them really blows the others all away. It just dominates the way it was like in the Ronnie years. I think any of these guys that we're talking about now, they're all capable of winning on any given day. What about Andrew Jack? He has better, more aesthetic physique than Derek and even in the lineup. Andrew is still a work in progress. He still needs more hamstrings, little more back thickness, but particularly the glutes and hams, more development. Once he has those, I don't see anyone stopping him, but he's not really quite there yet. I could see him in the top 5 for sure, and maybe even higher. So Andrew Jack fans and Andrew, I didn't mean to dismiss you like that. You're certainly capable of being in the top 5. I don't see him winning yet. I see him winning in the future. I just don't think his physique is quite where it needs to be. He's still loading. He still needs a little bit more. Good stuff. Existence. Which steroids make you aesthetic? No steroid will. All steroids will. All about diet, having the structure, musculature, of course. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people that were very small. I'm talking like, let's say like 5'8", 5'9", 150 pounds. But they had this beautiful shape, just round. Their shoulders were round, their arms were round, little tiny waist, sweep to the thighs. And they had a better physique. Like, I'll never forget, it was like 2003 or 4. It was way back. This is going back a long ways. But there was a big regional show up in New Hampshire. I think it was in New Hampshire that year. Anyway, the point being is this guy, Paul, he was a lightweight. He's 154 pounds. He was natural. And he ended up winning the overall, which really upset, the middleweight, the light heavyweight, the heavy, and the super heavyweight class winners, because they were all bigger than him, especially the heavyweight and the super heavyweight probably had between 40, 60 pounds on this guy. Oh, more. If he was 150, let's say 40 to 80, 90. Anyway, they were much bigger. But this guy had a much prettier physique. He had beautiful shape to him. Paul Thompson Jr., I think is his name. Yeah, he was a really good competitor. Tiny, tiny waist, just really pretty shape, where these other guys are just clunky, big, thick waists. Yeah, just not pretty physiques. So, yeah. Let's see. Mark says, if I had to bet money, I'd put everything on Derek. Luckily, no one's making you bet money, Mark. Don't sleep on Brandon. Oh, I agree, Raymond. I agree. I would actually love to see him. Brandon's a cool guy. He keeps quiet. He doesn't talk crap. So he kind of gets forgotten and left out of these discussions a lot. And, people sort of parrot, oh, he's got no legs. He's got no legs. He's got no legs. He doesn't have no legs. He has pretty good legs. They're not like spectacular, like Big Rami's or something, but he has pretty good legs. His upper body's a little bit bigger in proportion, but the guy was Mr. Olympia and he was second place 2 years after that. So it's not, and the worst he dropped to was fourth last year. So Brandon has been over in Kuwait working very hard for a couple months now. Recent updates look spectacular. I don't see why he couldn't. Who's winning the classic division? Are you talking about the Olympia or Legion? Legion, if you see the preview, we went with Terrence Ruffin immediately. He's beat nobody in that lineup has ever beat him. Logan Franklin will give him a run, but Rough Diesel, Terrence Ruffin is a 2-time Arnold Classic champion. He's a 2-time Olympia runner-up to Bumstead. I don't see him losing that. If you're talking about the Olympia, I think it's going to be Bumstead again. Raymond Jones, Braun could be in the top 2 again this year. He'll benefit the most from the new weight increase. Yeah, I think he will. I think we'll see a much fuller Braun than we've seen in a very long time. I think we're going to see a fuller Ruffin. Ruffin was a guy who all I ever wanted to see out of Ruffin was a little bit more size, and particularly in the arms, because God, he's got a beautiful physique. Just the structure, the shape, and his posing is out of this world. So I think both of those guys. But yeah, Braun, I'm really looking forward to Braun. And, I wanted to see him in the 212, but now I'm realizing he would have really needed a lot more size to be competitive in the Olympia 212 against guys like Clarita and Angel Calderon and, gosh, who we got? Kareth, Monsback, Keon. Yeah, it would have been tough. So I think it was the right choice for Braun to stay in Classic. Slightly off subject, who's your top 3 all-time bodybuilders from the UK? So Dorian was the best we produced. Think he had a better back than Ronnie? No, I think they had slightly different backs, but they were equal. Top 3 all-time bodybuilders. I go Ronnie, Flex, Dorian. I want to say Arnold. Physique-wise, it's tough because I know he doesn't compare to the modern era. He didn't have those legs. He didn't have that back thickness, but that's not what the standard was in his day. So I'm going to have to make it top 4. Sorry, Andy. Let's see. Michael Edwards points out Muhammad Makwe was only 5'3", but had a great aesthetic physique. Yeah. And in 1983, Lee Haney's first year as a pro, yeah, he beat Lee Haney, I think, 3 times. Every time they faced off, Lee was right behind him. Of course, Lee was like 22 years old at the time. But yeah, Muhammad Makwe, very aesthetic. That's a guy that would have been perfect for Classic. I think he was 5'3" and 150 pounds, 160 pounds, something like that. He wasn't an enormous guy. M12, do you think it's normal for the FBB to announce the Italy show? You mean the IFBB to announce the Italy show in just 2 weeks before the show? Well, fair and professional? No, the show wasn't just added. It's been on the schedule all year. So yeah, M12. They didn't really just. You can't put a show together that quickly. A pro bodybuilding show. There's the venue. There's peak workers. There's way too many things that need to be arranged. So that was not a last minute thing. It's been on the schedule all year. If you're ever in doubt as to the schedule of events, ifbbpro.com, great resource. They have a listing of all the shows, and they break it down into categories. So first, they'll give you a listing of all the men's open shows with contact information for the promoter, where it's located, things like that. And then they break it down, 212 shows, classic shows. It's a very long list, but you can see in each division how many different pro shows are offered and how to contact the promoter. They also have results, score sheets from all the shows. So great resource, ifbbpro.com. Brandon Looney Tunes, what's up, Brian? Goku. Brett. Okay, Goku Luffy. Brett Wilkin, Justin, I think you mean Rodriguez, Tonio Burton, Ross Flanagan, Roman, and Presti. Which one of these is cracking top 10? Um, I would go. Let's see. Ross beat Tonio. I'd say Brett, Tonio, and Ross have the best chance. Roman needs more upper body mass. Presti's good, but he looked perfect last year. He got like third call out. I don't know. I guess Brett. I'm gonna go Brett. Just pissed off the other two. Do you do workout videos? No. Some do hit the bell. Thank you. Appreciate that, Brandon. So Jen adds, the Olympus Pro was originally a 2024 qualifier, but it was changed to 2023 because the IFBB chose the last day of 2023 season. Yeah, which makes sense because the way it was set up was that Legion Sports, which happens tomorrow, that was going to be the final qualifying event to earn your way to the Olympia. And then the very next day over in Italy, I think it's Milan, they had this Olympus Pro, which was going to be a 2024 qualifier. So did it really make sense to the show that was on the same weekend? One of them qualifies you for the Olympia for this year, and the next day already goes into no. So I think that's why they did it. But yeah, so that was changed, I think, fairly recently, which year it qualified for. But, I think a lot of these European guys, they've been doing show after show after show. A lot of the guys in that Olympus lineup, they've been in multiple shows already these past few weeks. So it's not like they were only going to do that show. Hope that makes sense. The Milan show wasn't on schedule. I don't know why that wouldn't be, because they want people to go watch it. Yeah, Fritz is qualified. He won. I can't recall what show it was, but he did win a show this season. He is qualified. Oh, they're talking about Shear. Shear won. Was it Chicago? What did he win? Oh, he was talking about Justin Shear. I don't know which one he meant. I mean, Justin Rodriguez has been in the top 10, I should say, once or twice. So on paper, he's got an advantage. Shear has never been to the Olympia. It's his first Olympia. He's got a really good physique. I still think he needs more back, but, anything's happened. You meant Justin Shear, yeah. Okay, James, you think Deca is an aesthetic steroid? And think of the known high Deca guys. Danny Padilla, Mike Mentzer, Tom Platz, Lee Priest, Flex Wheeler. No, there's no steroid that's an aesthetic steroid. They just like that steroid for whatever reason. It's not like one steroid is going to give your body a different look than another. Your muscles are going to either grow or not grow. One's not going to make your muscles have a different shape. That's just your genetics. I mean, people hate to hear that because you want to hear that you always have options. You're in full control. You're not in control of your muscle shape or your bone structure. These things were predetermined by your ancestors, your parents and their parents, and so on back in history. So sorry about that. Justin's not qualified. No, Justin would have to win this Legion to qualify. Yeah. So Jen points out Shear won Chicago Pro. So Justin Shear is going to Olympia. And if you go to MrOlympia.com, another great website for all the Olympia information and resources, because people ask me, like, why do you get tickets? It's all on there. But they also have a list of all the qualified athletes in each division. So you click on Mr. Olympia, shows you everyone that's qualified so far this year, 212, classic, men's physique, women's bodybuilding, all that good stuff. The only division that you don't need to qualify for is wheelchair. There's not that many wheelchair pros, so they typically let them all into the Olympia. Gomolemo Molete. I haven't been to the gym in 8 years. I look not so good. Very little muscle on me. Would you suggest I start with a cycle when I go back, or should it be natural for X period of months? I would not jump on gear right away. I'd give yourself a few months till you're back in your groove, till you got most of your size and strength back, and you're really back in that routine of training and eating and resting. When you're back in that and have everything in place, then maybe you could add some gear, go on a little cycle, and of course you're going to see some great results. But I think you're better off doing it that way rather than wasting the gear and the cycle on a phase where you're sort of reacclimating your body and your mind to the rigors of the bodybuilding life with the training and the eating and everything. Arturo Avalos, nice to catch a live show. Who are doing your interviews with the O's? Sorry, Vegas and Intelli Quell. Well, both. Why would I have to pick one? Yeah, I mean, we try to. So, are you asking me like who when they win? Well, I mean, it's hard to get the winner interviews because only the IFBB, the Olympia TV, Wings of Strength, they're the only ones allowed backstage. The rest of us have to wait until they sort of filter out of the backstage area and try to catch them. But if you mean like before the show, because Thursday night, Jose Raymond and I, we go to meet the Olympians and we grab as many pre-show interviews as we can. And Sarah and Natalia, Natalia, the reigning women's physique Olympia champ, Sarah Villegas, former two-time women's physique Olympia champ, looking to get her title back. Of course, I want to talk to them both. They're both fantastic. I was going to say fanatic. They're great. They're great athletes. I definitely want to see both. Sparky, man, I miss seeing Dallas and Compton on stage. 2016-17 is one of my favorite years of bodybuilding. Yeah, they both had so much potential. Dallas, his first Arnold Classic, he took second place. That's how good he was. And he was still so rough around the edges. He was a diamond in the rough. Dallas was not where he was going to, he hadn't achieved his final look. He had the size. He still had a couple body parts to sort of fill out and a lot of muscle detail and maturity that he could have gained over the years that unfortunately we never saw. 26 years old. And Justin Compton was tremendous. Justin, wow, one of the greatest physiques of that brief era in which he competed. For his own reasons, he decided to move on to coaching and not compete anymore. But Justin had a crazy, crazy physique, size, shape, really round, full muscle bellies. Very similar look to Dennis Wolf, but with a better structure, meaning his torso wasn't quite as long in proportion to the rest of his body. But what a great physique Justin had. And still could have anytime he wants, I'm sure. M12, why guys like Roman Fritz still compete this close to Olympia, although they're already qualified? I think it's a smart move. If I'm Roman Fritz, I know I'm not making top 5 or 6 at Olympia. Top 10 would really be a stretch, and I'm not putting him down. I'm just being real, guys. I would not put all my eggs in one basket for Olympia. If there's a chance to hit another show that's not far, maybe it's a 2-hour flight from me, I'm already in shape, I could pick up some more money. Sponsors love to see me up there. Fans love to see me up there. And he's got a lot of fans. So, no, I think Roman's doing what's best for Roman. I don't think, like say Regan. Regan skipped the France show because he already qualified when he won in Spain. And going home and resting until the Olympia was a great idea for him. There was no reason for Regan, who does have a chance of making top 10, there was no reason for Regan to go back to Europe for another possible win, another $10,000, when it's probably screwing up his prep because you got all that flying, you're in a different environment, different gym. I'm sure Matt, the manager, takes great care of him, makes all the best arrangements for gyms and food and lodgings and all that good stuff. But still, you want to be in your home environment when you're prepping for a show, especially a contest as tough and as significant as the Olympia. Regan Grimes versus Brett Wilkins. Who you got? I'd go with Regan. I like Brett a lot. We've never seen them next to each other, so I'm doing a very split-second comparison in my head. I'd probably go with Regan on that one, yeah. Got to run. Enjoy the visit. Thank you, Jen, for popping by. As you can see, I got this all set. I'm so good at this now. M12, what do you think of Brand's last update? Do you think he'll be top 3 at the Olympia? Of course. This guy was Mr. Olympia. And he was second place 2 years in a row after that to Rami. And he was only 4th. He only dropped to 4th. So to say, can he be top 3? Of course he can be top 3. He could win it. I've seen stranger things happen. Like when Cutler came back in 2009, prior to the show, because he had lost the title to Dexter Jackson the year before. And the year before that, a lot of people thought he should have lost it to Victor Martinez. So a lot of people thought Jake Cutler's physique was done, trashed. 2009, he comes back and he had a crazy great new look thanks to his new coach at the time, Honey Rambod, and he won the show. So it's happened once before. It could happen again. And, maybe Rami could come back next year and get his title back. Who knows? Don't forget about Nathan. Yeah, Nathan. Well, nobody asked about Nathan. I don't have him in my top 5, but, I could see him definitely in that 6 to 8 spot. He's been 7th place before, so why not? Would Kevin be the Phil of his era? I think he meant to say era. If he took his off season, had a good coach. Kevin. You mean Kevin Levrone? No, I don't think so. I think Kevin might have won Olympia. I think he probably deserved to win Olympia at least one of those years. He was runner-up 4 times. I don't think necessarily a coach because he brought a great look. It's not like his condition was off or he was flat. I didn't see him making too many mistakes, even though he was his own coach. So I don't necessarily think a coach or training all year would have made much of a difference. It's not like he needed more size, or body parts were lagging. He brought a great look to the Olympia stage. Regan versus Behrooz Tabani. You mean Behrooz Tabani? Oh, you're probably doing talk to text. Behrooz has superior conditioning for sure. Detail. Regan's a much bigger, wider guy. Again, I go with Regan. And I'm not like a nut hugger on Regan, guys. I'm not. I'm really. But I think in that matchup. M12, what's your top 6 this year's Olympia? I don't want to keep doing that. We did it earlier, but we're going to do more Olympia-based stuff in the coming weeks. We're going to focus on that. One thing I will let you guys know, I hurt my shoulder. So my right leg's in a brace. I can't walk without the brace. I can't bend my leg enough to drive or do any leg training. I had a slight tear inside this rotator cuff. It must have happened last Friday. I think it happened just scooting myself up out of bed, just weird movements that I wouldn't normally do, but I'm doing because I have this leg in a brace and I can't move normally. Anyway, my wife thinks it was just from going to the gym too much. Long story short, I could barely move all weekend. I didn't take any ibuprofen. I was using Tylenol, which didn't do shit. Finally, Sunday, my wife goes out and gets some ibuprofen. I popped 4 of those, 200 mgs, so 800. Started feeling better. Still hurt Monday. Tuesday, I woke up and it was still hurting a lot. I scheduled an orthopedic appointment with an orthopedic surgeon, a consultation, because I wanted an MRI. They did an x-ray. They didn't do an MRI. It was determined to have it's probably partial tear because he did the tests like push this way, push that way. And I was able to do that with enough strength. So he said, it can't be a full tear. You wouldn't be able to do that. It's probably a partial tear of the rotator cuff. And due to the severe degeneration, severe arthritis, the cartilage, this is bone on bone. No one's going to do a rotator cuff repair on you. They're just going to say you need a shoulder replacement. Or in my case, I think what they call a reverse shoulder replacement would be a better option. So I've needed the left shoulder replaced for at least 10 years now. And now I definitely need the right shoulder replaced. I'm not doing it because when they replace your shoulder with these implants, these artificial shoulders, you're never really able to train hard again. So I'd rather deal with a little less pain, a little less range of motion, and still be able to train. Just thought I'd update you on my ongoing injury situation. But this one's feeling better because I'm sorry, I should have finished the story. He did say, well, do you want a cortisone shot? I said, hell yeah, I want a cortisone shot. So they popped it in and it's feeling better. Not 100%. I still can't get the arm all the way up, but for like all last weekend, I could barely move that arm. I could barely lift it up just a few inches front back to the side. It was awful. Do you ever hear anything about PJ Braun? I wonder how he's doing. Well, the print magazine, Muscular Development, he has a column in there every month, sponsored by his supplement company, Blackstone Labs. So PJ keeps us updated. He is in prison. I think don't quote me, but I heard he's got something in the works where he is trying to get released fairly soon. But Limitless Bodybuilding is his column. And actually, if you go to the Muscular Development website on the homepage, we have links to we post reprints of the magazine articles, a few weeks or a couple months later. You can find a couple of his recent articles on there. Limitless Bodybuilding by PJ Braun, but he seems to be doing pretty well. He's working out, he's eating as well as he can, keeping a very positive mindset. Regan versus Rafael Brandel. Regan. I keep saying that. Yeah, I mean, Rafael's got a beautiful physique. Regan's just so much bigger. Raymond says, time to downsize. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like I have much of a choice, does it? If I can't train that heavy. I mean, I'm already down. 215 is not that light, I know, because I'm 5'7.5", but I don't know. If there comes a day, I love training hard. I love, I'm so used to eating the way I eat. Even if I went off if I went to a strict TRT dose, my last blood results, I was only 1,500. I say only because that's not a super high free testosterone, total testosterone level. I'm sure in the past when I was blasting, a gram of test and a gram of Deca, I'm sure it was probably 3 times that. So, yeah, I mean, if I can't train that heavy, I'm already losing size of my legs because I haven't been able to train them. I do notice my shoulders go down pretty quickly when I'm not able to train shoulders. They don't really get enough ancillary stimulation from chest and back work. I do need to do the laterals. Laterals, oddly enough, overhead presses I can't do with free weights, but laterals seem to really bother my shoulders. I'm gonna have to go lighter on those. I'll figure it out. I mean, I've been training around injuries of one type or another for well over 30 years. I remember first injury I ever recall having from training was I hurt my lower back fall of 1987. I just turned 18. That was the first training injury I can remember. It was I was sitting on a flat bench pressing a barbell overhead with no back support or anything. I was arching too much and I tore something in my lower back. Partial tear, do exercises. Yeah. Partial tear, there's nothing they can really do. And if it, like I said, if it's a full tear, they're not going to do anything for me because of the arthritis and the fact that I need a new shoulder. They're not going to waste their time, I guess. I don't know. But the surgeon made it clear that he wouldn't do it. Good thing you don't need surgery. Samson, PJ Braun is getting out relatively soon. Guys, just talked about. Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, he's already been in there for a year and a half. How long's it been? It's coming up on 2 years. Still married to Celeste? I have no idea. Joseph Arablo, who's posting on Facebook. He's a couple weeks out from a show. He's trying to get those last couple pounds off. It's not easy. Aesthetics is mostly genetic, naturally wide shoulders, smaller waist and hips, and helps to have fairly even muscle distribution proportions. Yeah, if you've got great genetics, you're going to have a pretty damn good physique no matter what the hell you do. As long as you train consistently, eat some food, work out. It doesn't even matter if it's HIT, volume. Doesn't matter. You'll still look better than just about everybody if you have really good genetics. Indica versus sativa or hybrid? Which one do you like the best? Hybrid. So I didn't even, it was hard for me. I needed a mnemonic. I needed a mnemonic way to remember which one makes you tired. And Hector Mendoza, a guy who did a lot of photography and video work for us, he shared one with me. He says, indica puts you into couch, meaning you're just going to like get really sleepy and collapse. Sativa is, more energy, so you can smoke it and not be tired. I can't smoke at all right now. I haven't been able to since I had this injury because I did some research and it interferes with the healing process, mainly because when you smoke, you're inhaling one of the byproducts of burning cannabis is carbon monoxide. Yes, that carbon monoxide, the one that we know from that great hit, carbon monoxide poisoning and carbon monoxide detectors. So you're inhaling that, and that's a toxin. So obviously it's poisonous, and it will inhibit your body's healing. And I need to heal like freaking Wolverine right now. I need to get to the point where I can bend my leg. I'm at 60. I need to be 90 so I could sit in an airline seat and fly to Orlando for the Olympia, walk around all damn day and night. I'll have a brace on, but still, I need to heal fast. I don't have much time. I have less than 4 weeks now. And I need to be going. Stretch before the workout or during the workout? I say after the workout, after. Wait till you're all done. You can stretch the body parts. Say you just finished biceps. You can do a little bicep stretch, sure, after you finish biceps. I do, especially, I haven't been able to do it since this injury in my leg, but I would finish every workout with stretching because my body's all warm, pliable. I would stretch out my quads, my hams, my glutes, my hips, lower back, because it's all, you want to stretch when everything's warm. You don't want to just walk in the gym and start stretching. That's like a rubber band. You can actually hurt yourself. You can tear a muscle. It's like a rubber band. If a rubber band's out in the cold and you pull it, it snaps. But if a rubber band's in a nice warm room or you rub between your fingers for a couple minutes, get it warm, you can stretch it out to here. So yeah, after the workout, I would stretch after, or at least, so if maybe you're doing chest and shoulders today. When you're done with chest, that's when you stretch your chest. I like to go back on like a flat or an incline bench with dumbbells and let it stretch out in the bottom position for 30 seconds. Light dumbbells, not like 80s or anything. Shoulders, so I would do that. Then I would move on to shoulders. A good stretch for that is hands behind you on any bar, like an Olympic bar or something. Underhand grip, and just let your body weight pull forward on them and stretch them. Or you could go up on a bar and do that skin in the cat thing for gymnastics if you're really brave. Raymond Jones, you don't need to train lower body look aesthetic. Well, that's true. I mean, these men's physique guys have some of the most crazy aesthetically pleasing physiques, bodies I've ever seen, and they don't have, monstrous leg development. Samson, I don't know if he's still married to Celestia. I have no idea. I don't keep track of that stuff. Michael Edwards, Bob Paris had some of the best natural aesthetics. Yeah, Bob, a lot of the younger guys have no idea. Bob Paris, Google images of him. Another guy out of France was Francis Benfato. Wow, what a classic, beautiful physique. Lila Brada, Frank Zane, Serge Nubret. If you saw the movie Pumping Iron, I think he had the best physique up there. He took second to Arnold at the 75 Olympia at the end of that movie. But Serge Nubret, yeah, these are some of the most aesthetic physiques I ever. So how do you warm up with weights, Emperor himself? Well, you start light. So let's say you're going to do flat dumbbell presses for chest. That's going to be your first exercise. Let's say your work sets are going to be somewhere around the range of like 80, 90, 100. Those are how heavy the dumbbells are. I would start out with something like 30 pounds in each hand, do 20 reps, pause, do some quick flexes, get the blood moving. 30s, I would go to like 50s, do like maybe 15 reps with those, get a lot of blood pumping, a lot of heat in the area. It's my last, I would do even a third, especially on your first exercise for a body part. You want to do a little more warming up. And something like squats, I would do sometimes as many as 4 or 5 warm-up sets for squats until you really felt ready. Everything's in the groove and everything's warm. So back to the dumbbells for the chest. So 30s for 20, 50s for 15, and I would do like 65s for 10. And you say, well, it's really, you're taking a lot of energy out of. You're actually mentally preparing, you're physically preparing. Even if you lose a little bit of the possible strength you would have, you're offsetting the risk of injury so much that it's well worth it. And then you could do maybe 80s for 12, 90s for 10, 100s for 8, something like that. But yeah, you want to start light and pyramid up, as I used to say. Go Luffy. I thought MJ help you relax. It's great for recovery. Is that just for working out? No, it does. It's so recovery and wound healing are two different things. I was specifically Googling results for cannabis or THC. I searched a few different terms, and wound healing post-surgery. And it's not recommended for post-surgery. A lot of bodybuilders use it to relax, to help them sleep, to help boost their appetite, just as sort of an anti-anxiety thing instead of taking like, Prozac or whatever, or Xanax, self-medicating. So in that aspect, it's fine. It's just I can't use it while I'm healing from this. And to be honest with you guys, I actually have recovered a lot of my vocabulary. My short-term memory is better. So it's going to be a struggle for me to, just be very occasional with the use once I'm fully healed again, because it definitely has an impact on my brain power. And as somebody who was a writer, content creator, I need to be sharp. I can't be have brain fog and struggling to find the right word all the time. Yeah. Frank Costello. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's past noon already. Boy, oh boy. Wow. So I hope you guys are enjoying the new software. We Jen walked Giles and me through it. Was it 2 weeks ago now? Yeah. So I was very reticent, I'm very intimidated by technology and change. So I was using Zoom for everything, and the streaming, this was how I streamed everything when I went live. And I'm still going to use this at the Olympia. It's just easy. It's just so easy to set it up and go. Versus this, you have to go into the studio. There's more steps involved. But yeah, so that is it. I think I'm going to wrap it up. If I see another question, I'll get it. But tomorrow, Giles, myself, and Jen, we're going to be right here live after judging for Legion, after Open wraps up. Legion Sports is happening tomorrow. Go to centerpodium.com for the pay-per-view information. As for the times, the judging is going to start at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. That's 12:30 p.m. for me here on the East Coast of the USA. And I don't know where you guys are in the world, but you can do the math. Finals are going to be 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And this is the order they're going to go in. They're going to do fitness, wellness, classic physique, figure, women's physique, open bodybuilding, bikini, and men's physique. So as soon as the bodybuilding's wrapped up, no disrespect to bikini and MPD, but I'm going to go live with Giles and Jen, and we're going to show you. And now we have the capability to put on pictures and videos off Instagram or whatever as we're speaking. So this time we will have a lot of good images and video to reference while we're talking about this. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is the first time we're using this software that has a lot more capabilities, can do a lot more things on a live stream in particular. Apparently the StreamYard is like the go-to for a lot of the top podcasters. This might be the last one. Dylan, hey Ron, you think push-ups are useful exercise for upper body strength? A lot of mixed messages online about this. Not really, and I only say that because once you get to a certain point and you can bang out 20, 30, 40, 50 of them, I used to be able to do like 100 nonstop when I was like a little scrawny ass teenager. When I weighed like 100 pounds, 120 pounds, I could bang out 100 push-ups, but it's not enough resistance. The reps are too high. So to build muscle, there's no real consensus, but all the studies show that you have to use at least 30% of your 1 rep maximum. So as you get stronger, the push-ups are not enough resistance. That's when you would need a barbell where you can load more weight on, or dumbbells to provide more resistance other than your own body weight. And, that's it. Push-ups are great exercise, great calisthenics. Push-ups, pull-ups are much tougher than push-ups. Dips, all great. But if you really want to build substantial muscle mass, you're going to need more resistance than what your body weight can provide. So that is it. I guess I'm going to end the stream. Again, join us tomorrow right here. If your notifications are on, you have to put those on YouTube and on your phone. You'll know when we're going live, but I do plan on going live tomorrow, both after the judging with Giles and Jen. And then for the finals, it's probably just going to be me and Jen. It's going to be so late for Giles. Giles is in the UK. He's 5 hours ahead of me. It's already 5 in the afternoon for him, or the early evening. We got one more. Stephen McNeckbeard. I think if you take 247 milligrams test, wow, where did you get that number? 247. I think it's a joke. 11.7 megavanavar, 1.32 IUH gives you classic look. Reshaped bones, so you look like Surgeon Bray. See, sometimes sarcasm doesn't come across immediately in text form. Like I've started arguing with people and then I realize, they were just kidding. They didn't mean it that way. So yeah, Stevie, that was a good one. I like the numbers. I've done that. Like someone is 37.2% better than they were last year. What percentage does this guy have his best? I think Samson was 91.8% of his best. Stuff like that. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. Ask Ron Live. I like to do these on Fridays. It's typically when I'm getting most of my work for the week is already done. So that's it. Appreciate your viewership. If you like these, share them. Leave some comments below if you didn't catch this live. I love the feedback, and I always respond to the comments on these, always. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves an excellent weekend. And, of course, centerpodium.com. Jet Cool, please post that. Post that in the last Ask Dr. T video on this channel. That is really a good question for him, more so than myself. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.